Coming up in today's news programme, Hansen gets charged for harassment. I hold a bottle of beer, and Pokimane does a thing. Hello and welcome to the Tea Time Report, the news show where we take a look at things happening around the internet and deliver you all of the latest tea in time for your tea. So moving into our first story. The coronavirus, more specifically COVID-19, the disease currently spreading across the globe and causing a lot of people to panic, so much that they buy up toilet paper. Why?
I just want one pack. No, not one pack.
Unfortunately, this story isn't about people buying toilet paper like idiots, but it is about Ethan Klein of H3H3 after he posted a tweet criticizing the Emerald City Comic Con for going ahead with its events, even though Seattle, the place where it's getting held, is the epicenter of the outbreak in the US. On the 6th of March, Ethan posted a tweet saying that Comic-Con was refusing to cancel their Seattle convention after they released a statement regarding concerns of the coronavirus outbreak in the city. And he also says that they are bringing over 100,000 people from around the country and states that it will be a disaster if it is not stopped. In the tweet, he also tags the convention's Twitter account, the mayor of Seattle, and Dr. Eric Ding, who is an epidemiologist. However, within 24 hours of this tweet, the Emerald City Comic Con released a statement on their Twitter. In the tweet, they say, after many hours of conversation internally and after consulting with local government officials and the Tourism Bureau, they've decided to move next week's Emerald City Comic Con to the summer of 2020, and that dates and details will come within the future. In a thread below the statement, they had answers to frequently asked questions, which basically just explains what's going to happen to the people who were going to be going to the convention. What's interesting is that this came 20 hours after Ethan had made his tweet, and in a tweet by Dr. Ding in response to this new announcement, he also thanked Ethan for helping spread the message. Hours later, after the ECCC had announced their cancellation, many other conventions had to make statements regarding their events. The most notable announcement came from TwitchCon Amsterdam, which was cancelled due to potential health risks. Many creators reacted to this news, with Pokimane replying, "Sad but smart." Jacksepticeye acknowledged the health concern, with Raj asking for a reschedule, as well as responses from many more creators like Calfreezy and Talia Ma. In addition to this announcement, League of Legends organizer LEC released a statement saying that due to the ongoing COVID-19 outbreak, they have moved the 2020 LEC Spring Finals from Budapest to the LEC studio in Berlin. As well as this, the Ultra Music Festival postponed their event, and the Minecraft Festival was also postponed. However, Call of Duty League took a different approach and offered a statement in the opposite direction, saying, based on a comprehensive review of all available guidelines, this weekend's LA home series will continue as planned. They also promised that there would be new procedures in place, such as on-site medical professionals, including a physician and nurse, well-stocked hand-washing supplies in all restrooms, cancellation of meet and greets, team walkouts, and autograph signings with players. It's definitely for the best that these events have taken these precautions to help stop the spread of the virus, because there's just no point spreading it. Just like there's no point buying so much toilet paper, just stop it. So moving on from that, Twitter has updated its terms of service to expand on rules they have against hateful conduct. In a blog post, the company said that they're expanding this rule to include language that dehumanizes on the basis of age, disability, or disease. In the blog post, they provided a few examples of what they would deem as hateful conduct. The most interesting thing about these changes is the dehumanization based on age group, and this is probably in response to the OK Boomer trend we saw in the last few months. So can we have a show of hands for everyone who said OK Boomer in the last few months? If you're one of the people that joined in on the trend and called people boomers, don't worry, you won't be suspended. Twitter says that if the tweet is reported, it has to be removed, but you will not be suspended if it came before the new rules, which is kind of a bummer because the boomers obviously complained about it. This is not the only new thing coming to Twitter, and they have announced that they are testing a brand new feature. And it isn't the edit button. This new feature is called Fleets, and it's nothing new. It's basically just their version of Stories, a temporary post that deletes after 24 hours. No one asked for that. We're unsure how this feature will be used, but some have suggested that it will allow people to get things off their chests without them getting cancelled sometime in the future. So moving on to YouTube news, and on Friday, the 6th of March, Count Dankula released a bunch of tweets basically saying that YouTube had gave him a strike for his controversial Nazi pug video, which was removed over a year ago. In his tweets, he says that the video didn't show up in his YouTube studio, and because of that, he assumed YouTube had removed it, but apparently it just wasn't visible to him. He then shows a screenshot of YouTube removing the video in September of last year, and he makes the claim that YouTube's bots are giving out community strikes for videos that don't exist on someone's channel. Dankula thinks that this is an issue for the entire YouTube community and claims that this sets a precedent for YouTube to strike people for no reason. He says it could be used to silence people that YouTube doesn't like, and also mentioned the case of the hacked channel that we talked about last week.
This channel, I do say political stuff. I keep politics now away from my main channel unless it directly relates to the mad lad. But yeah, YouTube, they've wanted us gone for a very long time. I mean, look at that creator. I feel bad because I've forgotten her name. Her channel got hacked for like 2 months. And YouTube were like, your channel's not hacked. We did a review, and they were calling her Alex, which isn't even her name. And all that shit. Like, YouTube has absolutely no human element whatsoever.
So basically, another week, more inconsistency and malfunctions with the YouTube system.
If you make YouTube a lot of money, then YouTube cares. Then YouTube cares. Which, again, it's their business model. But the fact is, people like me, we're on a different set of rules from YouTube. YouTube doesn't want to speak to us, doesn't want to help us, doesn't give a single shit about us. But yet, we persevere because at the moment, YouTube is the biggest dominant power in the market.
So, Pokimane made an announcement.
Mimi, is there an announcement today?
I'm sorry, Pokimane, there are no announcements on your schedule for today.
See? No announcement.
So you're not moving to another platform?
Nope. I'm not going anywhere.
But I read on several obscure internet forums you were moving to...
Okay, but you can't believe everything you read online. And I really have to start, so could you...
yeah,
Yeah.
I've got to go anyway.
Thanks for swinging by, though. Bye!
Well, I just lost a bet.
It seems that Twitch is getting a little bit desperate to keep its top streamers on their site. In a video following the announcement, she answered a few questions regarding her decision.
I decided to take less money to stay on Twitch. And when I say less money, I mean like the differential is more than I have in my bank account right now. So that goes to show how great both of those deals are. Twitch gave me a very fair offer. And as tempting as it was, I didn't want to go to the highest bidder, and I want to talk to you guys about why. But before I get into that, I just want to note how privileged I am to be able to make this decision and be able to make a decision like this.
Now for some very interesting news. Chris Hansen has been charged in New Jersey for harassment, specifically for communication in manner to cause alarm. It was reported yesterday that the complaint was issued on the 28th of February by the Hoboken City Municipal Court for an incident reported on the 5th of the same month. A few people heavily involved in the anti-Onision movement were quick to question these reports, citing Onision's embarrassing mistake in serving the wrong Chris Hansen back in January. However, Hansen responded to the reports in a Twitter video confirming the charge was real.
There is a lot being said on social media about some sort of harassment complaint filed against me in New Jersey. Let me be very clear. It is nonsense. It was filed by Vincent Nicotra and his lawyer's sister, Frances Nicotra, who practices law in Jersey City, New Jersey. Vincent used to work with me on my web projects until I had to let him go because of things he said and did I could not condone. Vincent became angry. He hijacked a website with my name and image, used it to harass me and others. Then he apparently sold it to his sister, the lawyer, Frances Nicotra. So that's the true story. I'll have more to say as this progresses. Lawyers are on top of it. They are also wondering why Francis Nicotra would even get involved in such a thing, given the fact that it's baseless and shouldn't even be in court. We're dealing with it, mark my words. Thanks.
It seems that the beef between Hansen and Vincent Nicotra will boil down to whatever happens in court on March the 24th. Now here at PNN, we don't usually discuss politics unless it directly affects the things we do online. However, we're going to change that today with a little bit of a political meme review. So Democratic nominee Joe Biden released a new presidential campaign video on Twitter.
I ain't dead, and I'm not gonna die.
To say the least, it was pretty awful, but it did spur some pretty good memes as shown by Justin Wang.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Very nice. Now this wasn't the only memeable thing doing its round on Twitter this week, and Adam22 posted a video of an MSNBC News discussion with a little bit of poor maths.
But you see it as a possibility if he wants to spend $1 billion beating this guy, he could do it.
Absolutely. Somebody tweeted recently that actually with the money he spent, he could have given every American $1 million.
I've got it. Let's put it up on the screen. When I read it tonight on social media, it kind of all became clear. Bloomberg spent $500 million on ads. U.S. population 327 million. Don't tell us if you're ahead of us on the math. He could have given each American $1 million and have had lunch money left over. It's an incredible way of putting it.
It's an incredible way of putting it. It's true. It's disturbing. It does suggest, what we're talking about here, which is there's too much money in politics.
Because this was a complete embarrassment, the news show had to respond on Twitter. So that concludes our first ever political meme review. So for the final story, I have to deliver some pretty bad news. More regulations regarding children's activity online have been proposed in a bill motioned in US Congress. The Kids Internet Design and Safety KIDS Act was introduced on Thursday and, if passed, would force companies like YouTube and TikTok to completely rethink how children's content is treated. The act limits the platform's ability to serve ads, how it can design its apps, and how harmful content is shown for children under 16. The key target of the bill are the highly popular unboxing videos, such as the videos seen on Ryan's World, one of the most popular children's channels right now. However, the Kids Act wouldn't ban this content, but would prohibit YouTube from recommending it to children, which would hugely limit its distribution on the platform. As well as the proposed Kids Act, legislation has been introduced to increase the age limit of copper to 15, which will restrict an even larger demographic of users from using YouTube's basic features. So that is all for today's news. If you like what you saw, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to follow Josh Pescatore on Twitter to stay up to date with all things PNN, and join our Discord server to stay in tune with all the latest news. From myself and the team at PNN, thank you for watching, subscribe, and goodbye.